Is PSLF Buyback a scam? I'm taking a page from Alex Falcone's brilliant series, Is It a Scam? Yep, to tell you about PSLF Buyback and why it is definitely a scam, at least the way that it's working now. PSLF Buyback is a program instituted under the Biden administration in October 2023 to get student loan borrowers forgiveness faster. Under PSLF, you need to make 120 payments on your loans under an income-driven repayment plan while you're employed at least 30 hours a week by a nonprofit or government entity. But many borrowers who work for a qualifying employer don't go into repayment on their loans right away, or they float in and out of forbearances because nonprofits and government entities don't pay a lot of money. So these borrowers would work the full 120 months, but not make 120 payments. So PSLF Buyback said, look, when you get to 120 months of employment, we'll tell you how much you should have paid during those months that you were in forbearance or whatever. We'll send you a bill, you write one check for the full payment, and you'll get your loan forgiveness. Under the program, initial processing takes 45 business days to receive your buyback offer. You get 90 days to make a payment, and you get your final discharge under public service loan forgiveness in 2 to 4 weeks, which sounds great, right? And it was, until the Trump administration decided to fire more than half of the Department of Education. Now, according to court filings, there are 80,210 buyback applications waiting to be processed. 3,960 were received in November 2025, and 2,960 were processed in that month. In fact, they're typically processing about 2,900 applications a month, which means that if you submit a buyback application in November 2025, you're going to be waiting about 27 months. But if you submit your buyback application in February 2026, you're going to be waiting nearly 30 months, because every month they're getting more applications than they are processing. So this is a really big deal for people in forbearance, especially under the SAFE plan. They're sending in their buyback applications instead of going into another payment plan, which means instead of making 14 or so payments to make up for the SAFE plan forbearance time, they're being locked into the system for nearly 3 extra years. If you stay at your qualifying job, great, but it also assumes buyback doesn't get discontinued before your application's processed, or that you don't get a better job offer and want to leave your qualifying employer before then, or you don't get fired, or you don't get disabled, or something else, because reasonably anything can happen. But they're selling buyback as this wonderful opportunity, which it would be if the system weren't being slow-walked into uselessness. Look, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't submit a buyback application, because honestly, you never know. They could suddenly catch up on processing. What I am saying is that submitting a buyback application and then just sitting around doing nothing is just falling for the false promise that currently is PSLF Buyback. If you've got any questions about your federal student loans, your private student loans, or any other debt whatsoever, as always, get in touch. You know where to find me.